What's going on, guys? I have a 2010 SeaDoo RXT 260 here. Guy dropped it off with a whole range of problems, lots of kind of cosmetic issues. The seat's broken off, cluster shattered, doesn't turn on. The front storage bin is here, but it's not physically attached. The mechanisms for release and everything are broken off. We have the bunks aren't even attached to the trailer. They're kind of just sitting there, not doing anything. So the keel of the jet ski is sitting on the trailer. He dropped it off because the cluster was not turning on, which is obviously that's just going to need to get replaced. It's cracked. There's been water in there for who knows how many years. But he also said he doesn't think the IBR is going all the way up. And then the last time he had it out, he was kind of acting erratic with the throttle. He could barely get it up to speed, and when he did, it would kind of stay there, not really move around, which to me kind of sounds like a throttle body issue, which of course I was able to verify here. I cleared the codes, started the ski, it barely wanted to start, and then I was able to get these codes back. So you can see this thing has 263 hours on it. And the active fault is pertaining to the throttle actuator. So I'll start it up here in a second to show you what that looks like. But really, I have a feeling that throttle body is completely corroded out and it's just not actuating anymore. So I'm going to pull that off and I'll show you what that looks like. But I also have to follow up with him here because, you know, 263 hours on a 2010, that could be catastrophic for the Supercharger. So I need to find out if he ever had this thing serviced or not, and if not, we're gonna have to go ahead and go forward with that too. So I'm gonna clear these codes here, and then let's go ahead. Yeah, the code just came right back, so I know something's going on with that throttle body. But let's give this thing a start and we'll see what happens. Everything is kind of screwed up here, so the button barely works. You have to reinsert the key to get it to go. So let's see what happens. Yeah, very delayed with the throttle, and it actually kind of stayed in one spot for a bit. So definitely looking like something's going on with the throttle. In fact, let's just yeah, low voltage. I'm pretty sure the battery's going bad. That's why I have it on a tender right now. This is actually a higher amp one. It's putting 3 amps right now. But let's go ahead and we'll get this disconnected and we'll get the throttle body removed, see what it looks like. All right, so I already started removing this plastic panel, but you have to get this out of the way in order to get to the throttle body. So continue on with this. We'll take this off and then I'll show you the next part. All right, now that we have that bezel kind of retainer thing out of the way, we can clear things up here. So I'm going to get rid of he has a custom air intake here. I'm going to disconnect that, just a single flathead to pull that off the Supercharger, and then I'm going to go ahead and loosen the intercooler piping that's going into the throttle body. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so we have the intercooler hosing out. So all we need to do now is take off the 4 bolts that are holding in the throttle body, and then I'll be able to take that out. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so I have the throttle body completely disconnected. I'm going to do some test on here shortly, but I also noticed there was quite a bit of condensation or water or whatever in the intercooler. So I'm going to keep that in mind, because if the intercooler is leaking, that can also cause all kinds of problems. So before I get any further, I'm just going to pull the throttle body out and do some testing in buds just to see what's going on there. All right, so I have the throttle body connected and I have buds open. So we are going to, let's go ahead and try doing a throttle body reset. And it looks like it's moving now. Let's see if it actually finishes. It does. All right, so I'm not sure what was causing problems before, but it's actually moving now. So, but you can see there is a lot of water that's on there. So I'm going to continue on, do some more testing here. All right, so I've done multiple recalibrations of the throttle body now, and it seems to be working consistently. So I sprayed some lubrication fluid in there. I'm going to go ahead and reattach the throttle body and start it up again to see if I can look at that throttle plate, make sure it's responding well. But I'm also going to pay attention to see how much water comes out of the intercooler pipe that's coming out, going into the throttle body. If there's a lot of water, that could be a sign that the intercooler is leaking. So we could do a pressure test on that, but let's get this connected first, so we'll see what happens. All right, I have the throttle body reattached. I didn't attach the intercooler piping. That's what we're going to test now. So let's go ahead and see what this thing got. Alright, still kind of delayed on the throttle, but there was a decent amount of water that came out of there. I don't know if there's water in the manifold or not, but let's go ahead and take a reading and see if there's any fault codes after that. Alright, so we are still getting throttle position sensor and throttle body related codes. In this case we have P2620, which is the value is not plausible, so basically it doesn't know where the throttle plate is, and P2622, which is an electrical issue related to the throttle position sensor. So it's looking more and more like the throttle body is the issue here, and you can kind of see it from that video because it kind of stalled out a bit there. That's usually acquainted with something going on with the throttle. But let's move on. We'll see if there's anything else that needs to be addressed. I'm going to take a look at the spark plugs. So we know I'm going to tell him he's going to need a throttle body. Let's take a look at the oil and the spark plugs next. Okay, if you look close, you'll see there's oil on some of these caps, the coil caps. Usually a sign that the valve or the valve cover seals are bad, which lets oil into the spark plug tubes. So I'll take a look at that when I take the plugs out. If it seems like it's pretty bad, I'm going to recommend this guy get new plug seals as well. There's a ton of oil in these spark plug tubes, so I'm going to recommend he gets new seals as well. But let's continue on, look at the rest of these plugs out as well. Oh god, this one's in there. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that is a ton of oil. Alright, let's get these plugs out and take a look. So the plugs themselves don't actually look that bad. I don't know if that's coming out as focused or not, but I'm seeing a concerning amount of metal flakes in here. Now, it's not part of the oil system, so I'm not gonna say that's a bad sign, but I will check the oil, and if I see metal flakes in there, I'm gonna let this guy know that he's got some major problems. But I'm not gonna jump to conclusions yet. Let's see what else we have. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the oil here. And it looks clean. I don't see any flakes. There's some bubbles on there, but that makes sense since we just started it. So I'm going to put this away for now. I will check the filter. I don't know how many hours have been on here since he changed it last. I'm assuming he changed it when he winterized, but if he winterized. But let's see if there's any new faults in here. Nothing. Let's do another read. So next thing, I'm going to pull out the oil filter just to see if there's any kind of metal flakes or anything on there. I definitely want to check the condition of the engine before we do any further work, but let's go ahead and check that out. All right, I just took the oil cover off and pull out the filter now, which is kind of stuck in there. So we can pull this up. I'm not seeing any flakes. It doesn't look that bad, to be honest. I'm gonna let this drip and then I'll put it on a towel so we can check it out. All right, I'm sure this is hard to see, but it doesn't appear to be that bad. The filter does look crushed a tiny bit, like it had water or something at some point. Maybe it's just really overdue, but the oil's coming out fine. There's no metal flakes in here, so this is okay. All right, guys, and the last test I'm going to do here is check the supercharger slip. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this engine has 263 hours on it, and this is one of the older Superchargers. So I'm going to check the slip just to let the guy know. I'm not 100% sure when this thing was rebuilt last, so just to be safe, I'm going to try to put this over somewhere else to get a better angle. Alright, we're only getting 5.1 Newton meters, which is pretty low even for a 260. So I'm going to let this guy know he may want to get his Supercharger rebuilt as well. If he did have it rebuilt at some point, then I'll take the hours into consideration and maybe we could just tighten it up. But I'm going to let him know that's where we stand. So that's it so far. Alright, so just to summarize where we're leaving it for today, that's all I'm going to get to. I got to let the guy know everything that's going on here. So he brought it in because he said he was having some kind of performance issue, wasn't able to get full throttle. It would kind of stay around a certain RPM and then drop. He was concerned about the IBR gate, which I tested earlier, and it seems like that's running perfectly fine. But basically the overall problem was performance issues, and the cluster, which we know is broken, needs to get replaced. So performance issues, I've narrowed it down to throttle body, which doesn't seem to be responding very well, keeps on throwing codes. We've also found that the spark plug tube seals are bad, so I got to let him know about that. And the Supercharger is only putting out 5.1 Newton meters on its slip test, so that's way out of range. I'm going to let the guy know that's where we stand. So if he wants to get this thing 100% up and running, he's going to need a new cluster. Supercharger has to get rebuilt, spark plug tube seals, and that should do it. Everything else seems fine so far. There's obviously only so much you can do without doing a water test, like the intercooler. We can't test to see if the intercooler is leaking water unless we have it on the water. There is land tests that we can do, which I may end up doing, but overall, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on with the ski. It'd probably be best to test it on the water just to see how things are going. So that's where I'm going to leave it at for now.